Okay, greetings, welcome. This is the match reaction for Everton 1, Wolves 3, the calm version with me, the Mr. Archer. We'll have a raw version with Archie the Wolf coming up later on in a separate video. So where do we start with that performance? Did a reaction video for the fan channel Toffee TV, and it was basically saying that there's not much to talk about, right? I mean, the offense is inept, not capable of figuring out how to break down any type of defense, whether we're at home, whether we're away. Um, it just looks like we just don't have the creativity in the team. And when I talk about this, I mean the team in general. We've got creative players. We've got Bernard, which I don't have any idea why he didn't start. We have Sigurdsson. We have Gomez. To a lesser extent, we have Tom Davis and Theo Walcott. We've got players up front that can hold the ball up and perform like center forwards, like Cenk Tosun and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We've got Richarlison, who's both creative and fast and slick with his movement and can finish the ball. We've got players on the at left back and at right back that can whip a ball in and go in behind defenses and cause them all types of problems. But like a lot of people are saying, it has to be the formation or the tactics and strategies that Marco Silva's coming up with at the start of the game, or making tactical changes during the game that just aren't working, because we've been doing this formation with this style of play for what now? Over 20 games. And yeah, the season started off pretty decent playing that way, but once teams start to sniff us out and figure us out, and you've got all the coaching staff, the scouting staff, you've got all the technology these days to break teams down. We saw that with Bielsa from Leeds. If that's what I mean, he's not a championship manager, let's get that right, but if that's what teams in the championship are doing week in, week out, game in, game out, in order to do the research and get the information on their opponent, surely teams are doing that against us, and they have, and we've never had a plan B, we've never had a plan C. Well, I mean, our plan right now is to take off a forward and bring on a forward and keep the same formation. It's to take off a right midfielder and put on a right midfielder and play the same formation. And seeing as we're not getting relegated, we're not getting into the top six this season, we might stand an outside chance of getting seventh, but I've said it before that we are not better than Wolves, and they proved that to us yesterday. We are not better than Watford for style of play, for players looking like they give a shit, for players looking like they know what they're doing, understand the information that the manager's giving to them, look like the manager actually motivated them. I mean, Javi Garcia is not exactly the most passionate and the most vocal, the most, you know, he's not the Guardiola and on the touchline when it comes to motivating his players for the 90 minutes, but you have to be sure that he does that behind the scenes, or he's got people on his management team that give those guys a shut up the ass before every game. And then you look at Bournemouth with Eddie Howe, you know, those three teams are not better than Everton right now. They're just not. We're maybe the 10th or 11th best team in the division. West Ham are pushing us pretty close too, and that's just for this season. I mean, if we get the players in that we need, if we get the deadwood out, if we can bring in the players that fit the formation, that fit the style, that fit the strategy of what Marco Silva and Marcel Brands and Farhad Moshiri want to see Everton Football Club put out on a weekly basis, then, you know, I'm sure we will be the 7th best team in the division. But right now, offensively, defensively, tactically, passion-wise, and all the other stuff that goes into that, heart, desire, determination, grit, steel, and all that stuff that we talk about, those little keywords, those bywords that we use week in, week out to describe what our team is lacking, we're lacking a lot. Defensively, making bad decisions, bad choices, making horrible, horrendous fouls all the time. You look at Michael Keane on Saturday, you look at Luca Dean against Huddersfield, even Baines, who, like I said before, should not have started this game. It should have been John Joe Kenny from the start. If you are not 100% fit to play, If you are not 100% fit to play in a game against a team that is above us in the league, that is our biggest challenge to get to the Europa League spots for this season, at home when the fans are expecting a performance, you don't go and put out a player that is not 100% fit. And we love Leighton Baines, yes we do. Is he a legend? Yes he is. Has he been a fantastic servant for Everton Football Club? Yes he has, and will continue to be so. Should he be an ambassador for Everton Football Club, like Pinar is, like other players are down the line? Of course he should be. Should he have started on Sunday? No, he shouldn't. That fault falls onto Marco Silva and Marco Silva alone. I don't care if Leighton came up to him and said, "Hey boss, I'm ready to go. We're in front of Goodison, we're in front of the crowd, we're in front of the fans, we need a win. I'm going to do my best for you today, boss. I'm going to do what I possibly can." Not in a game like this, Leighton. Not in a game like this, Silva. Sorry. When you look at our defending, again, another issue that we've been talking about for weeks and weeks and probably going to turn to months and months soon. Our defending on set pieces, on corners, on free kicks, whether they be direct or indirect, getting to the first ball, not letting them get to a second ball. If we do not get to the first ball, all of that is a complete and utter disaster. It needs to be fixed. How do we fix it? That's not my job. Offensively, got great players like I said before. We've got Lookman, who we wouldn't let go back to RB Leipzig because he's one for the future. And yes, he is one for the future. We've got Tom Davis in the squad. He's just settling into his role, but he has played a captain. He's an Evertonian. He's a young lad, so he's got potential too. But we've also got Theo Walcott. We know he's not at his best right now and hasn't been for a while, but if you look at his track record at Arsenal, we know what his strengths and what his weaknesses are. He's a good player. Gylfi Sigurdsson is an outstanding player. Andre Gomez is an outstandingly creative, tough, strong, skilled footballer who now we know can actually finish. Like we saw yesterday, that's a screamer, baby. Oh, Gomez, I love you, baby. Love you, baby. Just kidding. I'm just a fanboy. Who else we got? Ghana, not creative. That's maybe one of the only players that plays outside the defense. It's not actually a creative player. He gets stuck in. He gets his tackles in. He goes about the pitch doing that defensive central midfield role, but he hasn't got a forward pass. He hasn't got a chip 9 yards. He hasn't got a sideways pass. Well, actually, he does have a sideways pass most of the time. He doesn't have a creative bone in his body. So, and then you look out on the left, Richarlison. Decent finisher, also a young lad, fast, quick, skilled, does flop around like crazy. I mean, he's no Neymar. He's no what's the shithead from the other side called a Salah. He doesn't flop that bad. He's not a Willy Saha, but he's getting up there, and he needs to cut that shit out of his game right now, obviously. But we do have creative players. We've got players that know how to finish, know how to pass, should know how to break down a team, but we just can't do that. And that's what we saw against Wolves. You look what Wolves did. They have pretty much the same lineup every week. They've got somebody in the middle, João Moutinho, who does his thing. Ruben Neves does his thing. Their right wing back, Doherty. I don't know. It depends if you listen to American or if you listen to English commentary. Doesn't really, but we all know who he is. He gets assists, he gets goals, and we decide to play Leighton Baines against one of their most non-attacking position players. I mean, right wing back is a attacking position, obviously, but also it's a defensive position. So you've got to be really, really good to do that. Richarlison didn't have a sniff for most of the game, didn't get into it because of their wing back. Baines gave up a PK to the player that is playing in their right back position. I mean, the whole thing down our left side and on their right side was a disaster for us today. And then you can attack Seamus Coleman all day long when you're playing. How many times did they try and lob that ball diagonally? How many did Connor Cody, Bali, and Ryan Bennett, I remembered his name, play that ball trying to get to Seamus? And Seamus was an absolute joke and an absolute disaster today. And again, it's another player just like Baines, Respect, brother. We've loved you for a long time. You've been a great asset and a great servant to this club, but your time has come. You're not a week in, week out starter at the right back position. You can't get up and down anymore. And I'm sure people know that. I'm sure Marcel and Marco and all those people know that. So the only way that we can keep Coleman in the team, obviously, is by playing him higher up the field when we play a back three. But we don't have a back three right now because Jagielka and Mina are out. So, but the overall impression of this game is that Wolves made us look like an absolute joke. Everything that we want in our team, everything that we want our club to be this season. I'm not talking about past seasons. I'm not talking about the future. I'm talking about this season. The way the average run-of-the-mill layman person that only watches a little bit of Premier League soccer every week, if they see us on the highlights, if they see us on their sports center, they see us on the match of the day, they see us on BT, they see us on the internet, they see NBC highlights, they see an absolute joke of what a professional football team should be. You've got a team that came up from the Championship and are on a great journey over the past 18 months. They got players in, yes. They spent a lot of money in the Championship. They bought in players that could play in the Premier League and got them promoted. But what did they do in the summer? They added and subtracted. They got in, they got out. They got players in because they noticed what their squad deficiencies were, and they bought players in. They noticed the deadwood in their team, and they got rid of it. Yeah, it might have been loan deals for some of those players, but look where they are. Look how they're playing. Look how well coached, well managed, well informed, well disciplined, and they're great, right? Not the best team in the league. I mean, they're not Man City, they're not Liverpool, they're not any of that, but outside the top six, they are the best team outside the top six, bar none. And you see how they play. They play inside themselves. They know what their strengths are, they know what their weaknesses are. They play to their strengths and try and do what they can to limit another team exposing their weaknesses. They enjoy the football that they're playing. The crowd gets behind them. The crowd's always singing. They're super loud. Again, at Goodison, super embarrassing. I'm not sure how many Wolves supporters were there, but they were loud. You could hear them. You could hear them constantly before the game, during the game, at halftime, after the game. Not only did our players get kicked out of Goodison with their performance, our supporters, again. And yeah, maybe you think there's nothing to cheer about, and I wasn't cheering. I was just sitting here like, oh, here we go again. Everton that. Shit defense. There we go again. Can't defend a long ball. There we go again. Can't create any opportunities. There we go again. And I understand that. I would probably do that too if I was at the game. You pay your money to buy a ticket, maybe buy some concessions. And let me just get to this point real quick. Everton was celebrating, 31 years of Everton in the community? The amount of children, the amount of families that came out for the day. Not just, you and your dad or you and your sister or you and your kid. Family day. So a lot of people were going to that game for their first time today, and that's what they got treated to. Was that performance. Shocking, embarrassing, shameful. Me personally, I've been trying to get across the pond for a long time to go see an Everton game. But the time I'd have to take off work, the money I'd have to invest in order to go see Everton, would I be satisfied in spending thousands and thousands of dollars in order to get to Goodison Park? Yes, the Evertonians would be wonderful. We'd have a couple of drinks. I'd go see Goodison, the inside, the history, and all that stuff in person. I already know what's going on in the club and have known for a long, long time. I'm not just a casual, but showing up and being like, oh, this is my first Toffees game. It's going to be great. It's going to be, and it's that I could go to Spain, I could go to France, I could go to Germany, I could travel the world after going to the Everton game, and all the things I experienced, all the delicate foods that I ate, all the amazing sights and scenes that I could see, all the amazing people that I would get to see and talk to. The one thing that would stand out in my mind for the whole holiday and the whole vacation that I took would be, yeah, but Everton was shit. And, that's why until I see some type of commitment from the players, and I'm sure they don't care. It's just one fan. We're in a building process. This is a transition period, so you should come and appreciate that. But no, I'm not going to spend my hard-earned money when I don't know if I'm going to even get 1 out of 11 players that give a shit when they show up on the field. I'm not sure if the crowd's going to be up for it, if they're just going to sit there. There's a whole bunch of it that goes into it. But as for right now, I'm not making the trip across the ocean in order to come watch this team play. I'd come over and I'd go watch Bournemouth play. You go watch, Bournemouth at home. You see what they do to teams like Chelsea. You've seen what they've done. You go look at Watford and see what they do when they play at home. You can go to a whole bunch of different clubs around the country, and maybe not even just in the Premier League. I might go to take a vacation to England and with Everton being like this and not even go watch them play. It'd be embarrassing. It'd be shameful. I'd much rather go and have a good time watching a good, entertaining, fast-paced, end-to-end, thrilling, game of footy than I would go watch Everton and then just bore me to death with their predictability, with their regurgitation of lame tactics and lame formations and, you know, dire side-to-side passing. Nobody wants to see that, do they? Anyways, end of the story is that the only bright spot, two bright spots obviously from this game. One was my boy, Andre Gomez, doing what he should be doing, getting the ball kind of deep, going past players, showing strength, showing determination, and then just upper 90, past the keeper, have some of that, get in. And the other part obviously was the black cat on the field. The only thing that would have made that better, in my opinion, was if he'd have somehow got to the middle of the center circle and just dropped a load on the center circle. Gave it a good kick, you know, little kick behind, throw its head back and just walked off and went and sat with the Wolves supporters. That would have been the meme. That would have been the overall impression of what should have happened in that game, and that would have been the nail in the coffin for how we performed. Right? Everton won, Wolves 3, shameful performance. Garbage, crap. Any word you want to insert. Insert word here. Beep. There you go. There's your word. Anyways, Archie the Wolf will be back with a more raw version of this. So, thanks, and see you in the comments. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Please do that for better content, for longer content, for more content. If you like it, subscribe and like.